For patients with depression, they're often lacking kind of that ability to have enough serotonin in those spaces. And so a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor prevents serotonin being kind of sucked back into the cell. So it allows for serotonin to be more available.
And what is an SSAI? What does that mean? Antagonist, selective serotonin antagonist.
So those are medications that kind of do the opposite.
Okay. And you knew, as a psychiatrist, at least looking at her history, you knew that she had been seeing psychiatrists immediately prior to her suicide attempt, correct?
Correct.
And you knew that she had been prescribed a number of drugs by these various psychiatrists, correct?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, was she prescribed diazepam?
Yes.
Valium? Was she prescribed buspirone, otherwise known as Vanspar?
Yes.
About Wellbutrin?
Yes.
And what is Wellbutrin? Is that an antidepressant?
It is an antidepressant.
Hydroxyzine. What is hydroxyzine?
It can be used for a number of reasons, but for psychiatric purposes, it's often used as an anti-anxiety medication.
And Klonopin.
Yes.
Is hydroxyzine, is that a, strike that, Klonopin, that's a benzodiazepam, right?
That's correct.
And then lamotrigine.
Yep, lamotrigine.
Lamotrigine, sorry.
Yes.
What type of medication is that? Is that a mood stabilizer?
It is, yeah. It's also an anti-seizure medication, but in the psychiatric realm, it's used as a mood stabilizer.
And then we talked about Prozac, that's an SSRI, correct?
Correct.
And what's Remeron?
Also an antidepressant.
So in addition to all of the drugs that I had mentioned, she was also prescribed Remeron, correct?
Correct.
She was also prescribed Seroquel or quetiapine.
Yeah, quetiapine, yes.
Quetiapine, okay. And what is Seroquel?
So Seroquel is an antipsychotic medication.
And she was prescribed, as we already talked, trazodone. Was she also prescribed amitriptyline?
Yes.
What is amitriptyline?
Amitriptyline is one of the older antidepressants. It's a tricyclic antidepressant that can often be used to help with sleep, but also mood.
And Ambien, correct?
Correct.
And Zolpidem.
Yep, Zolpidem is the generic name of Ambien.
Oh, okay. Some of these drugs, they also have what's called a suicide warning or a black box warning. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Can you tell me what that means?
Yeah. So in studies that have been done, some of them show that especially after starting an antidepressant, it can increase someone's risk of suicidality. Many of those studies showed that it was mostly in adolescents and young adults, but it can happen in adults as well.
And Celexa was also a drug. Is that an SSRI too?
It is.
And all of these drugs that we just went through were all prescribed from September, end of September till January.
Yes, September 2022.
4 month period.
Yes.
It's an awful lot of drugs to be prescribed in 4 months, isn't it?
Objection.
Sustained.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commonwealth redirect?
Yes. Doctor, all those drugs that defense counsel just listed, you're aware she wasn't on all of those drugs at the same time, correct?
Correct.
And did you know that many of those drugs she took a very small amount of? Some she didn't take any pills at all?
I was not aware of that.
For Buspar, which is one of the ones he mentioned, were you aware the first prescription she only took 2 pills out of that bottle?
I was not aware.
Were you aware the second prescription a month or so later for Buspar she took 0 pills out of that bottle?
I was not aware.
So where are you getting this information about what she was on and when?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do is try to collect as much information as we can during our assessments. And so we look through the record in terms of what was prescribed. We also talk with other providers as to what they prescribe. But in the context of the assessments that we were doing, it did not require us to determine, what exactly she had been on before, because we were using a different set of medications to treat something, different symptoms that she was experiencing.
Okay. So you really have no idea what she was taking or when? You just know what was prescribed?
I know what was prescribed, and then we were also getting reports of what was being taken, what wasn't being taken. But
from the defendant?
Correct.
Okay. So she's reporting to you that she took those medications, but you'd be surprised to know that at least one of them, 0 pills were taken.
I don't think I'm surprised, no.
Okay. And You talked about prescription and what she was taking. Were you aware that in the time frame just prior to her being admitted to the hospital, she was only prescribed trazodone, Valium, and amitriptyline, just 3 medications?
Yes, I was aware.
And you were asked about, mania and exercising and cleaning out your garage and selling your belongings could be signs of mania, correct?
Correct.
But there are people who just exercise every day and they're not manic, correct?
Correct.
And there are people who have a messy garage and have accumulated a lot of junk and decide to clean out the garage that aren't manic, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, if someone is manic and attempts to do one of those tasks like cleaning out a garage, it's usually in a disorganized way and oftentimes they don't finish the task, correct?
Sometimes.
So if someone approaches a task like cleaning out the garage by organizing with another party, organizing the belongings, separating them into keep, sell, throw out, that's pretty organized behavior, correct?
Correct.
And if someone sells belongings that they no longer need, that's not necessarily a sign of mania, correct?
Correct.
That's more if they're selling their stove and then they have nothing to cook with, correct?
Correct.
So if they're selling junk in their garage that they no longer need, that's not necessarily manic, correct?
Not necessarily.
Thank you.
Mr. Rankin?
So if the person, as counsel said, they're exercising every day and they have a messy garage, that obviously would not be indicative of hypomania, would it?
Probably
A
not.
normal person can have, as counsel said it. How about a person that at the same time can't sleep because the insomnia is so bad they go 48 hours without sleep? Is that something to be considered in the whole evaluation?
Yes.
How about the fact of a person saying that my brain is broken and that they can't concentrate, they can't think? Is that something that the person you would consider in conjunction with the messy garage and the exercise?
Yes.
Thoughts of hurting themselves, suicidal ideation, that's something that's important to evaluate?
Yes.
Homicidal ideation, telling your husband that you're having thoughts about hurting your children, that's something you consider, isn't it?
Yes.
In reference to counsel's comment about just 3 medications that she was on prior to trying to commit suicide, you're not aware of the doctors telling her to discontinue this medication, start a new medication, go on to a different medication, depending on the doctor. You're not aware of that, right?
No.
And finally, if you know, did she sign a DNR, do not resuscitate?
She asked to the day after the first evaluation that I did of her, which was the capacity assessment to change her healthcare proxy. But in the context of her reporting a serious suicide attempt, we did not change her code status. We continued to chat with her about that, and she ultimately came to the conclusion that it made sense to make sure that her mental health was stable before she considered her code status.
Okay, but her initial reaction or her conversations with you all was that she wanted to have a do not resuscitate status.
Correct.
Thank you.
Commonwealth?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Your Honor.